Hi, and thanks for joining me. This is John O'Brien, and I want to welcome you to this mindfulness exercise of experiencing a glass of water in a new way. People have different perspectives on what mindfulness actually is, and while it does entail sometimes taking a full break from life and retreating to a meditation cushion, mindfulness can also be something that you do in everyday activities. And it's really about being able to participate fully in the activity that you're doing. So this exercise is about participating fully in the activity of drinking a glass of water. So let's get started. The purpose of mindfulness in general is just to notice where your attention is focused at any time. People seem to operate under the misunderstanding that to be mindful is to be perfectly focused. And while the goal is to be able to be focused and notice what happens with your attention, perfect focus is not attainable as a human being. So this is really simply about being able to bring your attention to some activity and train your brain to be aware and reflect on itself. And the purpose of this specific activity is for you to think about something that you do every day, the process of drinking, but in a new way. So that's the focus of this activity, is the process of, in this case, drinking water, and to see what you notice. You'll be guided through every step of the way as you go through every aspect of drinking. I'll give you instructions and then give you about 2 minutes to just notice the process yourself. I'll then bring you back to focus your attention on reflecting on what this entire experience has been like. And as far as the outcome of this activity, there are really three. It's first to see how well this process is able to hold your attention. Some of the activities that we do mindfully actually do hold our attention very well, while others won't. Second, to reflect on what new elements, if any, you found by really trying to pay very careful attention to the process of drinking. Finally, I'll ask you to examine what changes you may have experienced physically by being singularly focused as best you could. While that's not the objective of this activity, sometimes it's one of the nice outcomes. And on the next slide, I'll actually guide you through the process of drinking a glass of water. Allow yourself to get into a comfortable position. I'd like to suggest that the most effective way to engage in any mindfulness activity is to be in some sort of upright position. So you may choose to do this standing, or if you're going to sit, I would encourage you to be sure that you are in an upright position and have good posture. That posture actually allows us to be most focused. Whereas when you're slouching or lying down, you are not necessarily going to be able to be as focused, and you're not giving yourself that message of the importance of paying attention. So feet on the floor and with good posture. And so now I'll ask you to take the glass of water. You may choose to have another beverage if you wish, but I'm going to assume that you're using water to be doing this activity. And first, bring the glass over to the table in front of you if there's a table, or perhaps set it on your lap. And start the activity by just taking a deep breath and exhale. And just continue to breathe normally and naturally as you now bring your attention to the glass in front of you. So first, take both of your hands and place them around the glass and see what it is that you notice. Temperature, what the glass looks like visually, what the water inside looks like. And now what I'll ask you to do is to be paying attention to every part of the process of drinking, starting with holding the glass in your left or right hand, whichever you prefer, bringing the glass up to your lips and noticing the muscles in your arm as they tighten to be able to allow you to do that. Notice the glass as it moves to then be placed on your lips. Notice as you tip the glass up to allow water to enter your mouth. And then notice as the water gently moves through your mouth and then down your throat. And then bring the glass back to a setting position in front of you and let it be there for a moment. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want, but I would encourage you to be sure that as you do this, that you are very present to every step of the way. And now I'll give you 2 minutes to enjoy the process of drinking. See what you notice. And now I'll ask you to bring your attention back to my voice and back to this activity, back to the room that you're in. And I'll give you the chance on the next slide to reflect on what it is you just experienced. Now that you've had a chance to focus on the process of drinking water, I'd encourage you to reflect on the following questions. First, how well were you able to remain focused on the process of drinking water? Is that something that drew your attention, that it was easy to focus on? Or was it something that you found very difficult to remain focused on? And if so, what distracted you? Was it emotions that distracted you? Was it thoughts that distracted you? Thoughts about this process being rather boring, or thoughts about other things happening in your life? Emotions, physical sensations, just all kinds of things that might have distracted you. And when it came to those distractions, were you able to refocus and bring your attention back to the process of drinking water? If that was difficult, what got in the way? Is it negative judgments about the process? Or again, why was it hard to refocus? Also, what was new about the process of drinking water? What did you notice? Was there anything that you hadn't previously paid attention to that emerged for you as you brought your attention to this? Often when I do this exercise with people, they find that there are physiological sensations that they had not previously noticed. Finally, as I mentioned before we did this activity, I want you to reflect now on things that may have changed for you physically while you did this exercise. This is not the primary purpose of doing a mindfulness activity, but it is often a side effect that people find beneficial, that they find an experience of relaxation or a tension release in parts of their body. If that happened for you, what did you notice? So just take some time to reflect on those questions. So as I said when we got started, this activity is an example of one way that you can bring mindfulness and full awareness to anything in your life. Anything that you're doing with your body, you can participate fully in. And again, people get caught up in the idea that mindfulness is only going to matter if you can do it for 20 or 30 minutes a day. It's great if you can, but now think about how you might be able to integrate an activity like this into your life for 30 seconds or a minute at different intervals during the day as a way to step back and refresh your mind and refresh your body. I hope that you found this activity useful and that you find a way to integrate it into everyday life. I'd like to close this mindfulness activity with a quote from Jan Chosen Bays. She says, "Mindful eating is a way to become reacquainted with the guidance of our internal nutritionist. So often in the busyness of everyday life, we are eating and drinking without being present to doing so. And I think when we bring our attention to that process more fully, it's going to help us be healthier and be better to ourselves. Be well."